All right, guys, we're going to get started. A couple things real quick. There might be more people filtering in, so there's a clean line of sight to the food. Most likely where they're going to go right away. And also there's chair massages going on in the hallway. So don't be shy. As soon as someone walks up the chair, please jump on and enjoy it. I want to start by saying thank you very much for having us out here. It's a great opportunity. We've been doing a Lunch and Learn series for about a year now. We've got a lot of local businesses and even across the world, which is really good too. The message we had today is pretty important. I heard that you guys are pretty under a lot of stress right now. Realtors, right? No. And it's pretty messed up out there. And there's a lot of reform going on. I guess you guys can all agree. And the first part of the subject matter that I'm going to talk about today is going to be what we already know, because we see it every day on the news. All right. So just a little bit about myself real quick. My name is Dr. Eric Perone. I've been a chiropractor for 7 years. I've been a strength and conditioning coach and a trainer for 17 years. So I've been in the fitness game for a very long time. I happen to I owned a practice inside the Center Club over here in Newtown for 5 years before I moved over with the Wellness Solution Centers about 2 years ago now. I'm a local boy. I went to Council Rock High School. I got privileged enough to go back 2 years ago to start their strength conditioning program for the wrestlers and football players, so I spent more time there now than I did back then. And I went to Temple and then ultimately to chiropractic college in Atlanta and then in St. Louis to finish off my sports specialty, so I do a lot with athletes. But also my biggest athlete base are people like you, my weekend warriors. One of the hard concepts sometimes when we have a patient come in that starts to work out is I got to realize that they're now athletic. They're an athlete and they're doing stuff just like athletes would. So it's a good change. So my first slide I'm going to start out with is going towards our financial or our healthcare spending costs. So you guys right now know the financial department right now is really messed up, right? There's a lot of legislation going on. You guys are back end trying to sell real estate. On the front end, they're trying to change everything up. So paperwork's getting bigger, legislation getting bigger. Nothing's really balancing out. But I want to tell you guys right now, there's an even more of a messed up spot in our society right now, and that's in healthcare. Do you guys agree on that? It's pretty wacky right now. I'm starting to see some of the stuff from the Obama administration now coming down to small businesses and getting health insurance and what they're trying to do. So here's a couple key points, and then I'm going to kind of matriculate. And here's the cool thing, guys. One thing that the government's not doing right now, they're not giving you any solutions for the most part. We're hoping at least that they give you a solution, and so you can work from this hour of talk going forward. It'll be important. So spending on healthcare is the single largest component of overall consumption. It's larger than spending on either housing or food. So a lot of money is going out towards our healthcare. Does anybody have a relative idea of how much is spent each year, total, gross national? How many?
400 billion.
Close. 2.6 trillion. Okay, so we all get lost in big letters, and I know in real estate, same thing. When it goes to trillions, it's hard to kind of wrap your brain around it, but it's a huge amount right now. So 2.6 trillion, this was like in 08 or 09. So it's probably even more expensive now. So on per person, the big thing that hits me is $8,300 per person, or 18% of our gross domestic product. So $8,300 per person. That basically means that in each individual one of your pockets right now, $8,300 is coming out every single year to pay for healthcare. It's a huge, staggering amount. I'm not sure about you guys, but I think if I had $8,300 given to me every year, I would keep myself pretty healthy, so I don't have to use the healthcare system. This means that every family of four will spend $33,000 on healthcare expenditures. So pretty big, impactful numbers. For the most part, Dr. Ding's got one of our other doctors has a good saying. He says that when he goes to the store, he likes to buy quality shirts. Shirts that cost $120, $130. His dad, another chiropractor, is kind of more on the stingy side. He likes to buy cheaper shirts. So the one time they were in a debate, and they said, his dad goes, "Why do you always spend that money on that shirt?" And he goes, "Dad, well, if you look at it, add the 4 shirts up on what they cost and how fast they wear out versus the one shirt I buy for $120, it lasts me for 4 years. So I'm getting like 4 times as much benefit out of that one shirt that costs $120. So with healthcare, you would think that at $2.9 trillion a year, we're getting some pretty good healthcare, right? We're walking into hospitals, there's marble floors, you're serviced right away, you're walking out 3 days later, you feel like you're fantastic. It's not happening, guys. What we're seeing is, here's a quick question for you. The WHO, our largest organization, ranked our healthcare system among all these countries. So as you start looking through, you see France, Italy, San Marino, Andorra, Malta, all these beautiful countries. Very nice, but we're missing something. We're not on there. Okay, $2.9 trillion, and we're not in the top 36. We're at 37. All right? So we're paying for that high-price shirt, that $120 shirt that's supposed to last us for 4 years, but we're getting the one of the 4 that Dad's buying. So it's not a real good benefit right now, okay? And it's wearing out very quickly, and that's one of the reasons why we're seeing such a gross disparity by what we put in versus what we're getting out of the system. All right. Preventable illness. It makes up 70% of the burden of illness and associated expenses, according to the New England Medical Journal. What that means basically is that we, here as a group, are in control of our health. 70% of what we do will contribute to what our health reflects. And that's kind of what we're going to go over today with our wellness score and how we help each one of our patients come in through the door realize you can take control of your own health. Okay, we all know what sickness is, right? It's disease, it's infirmity, it's being in a hospital, it's walking into a hospital with not that sick, coming out even sicker, unfortunately, or not walking out at all. That's even worse. I was watching ABC News the other night, and the big thing, first thing that came across, was the fact that they manipulated the numbers, and they said it's actually about 1 in 3 people that walk into a hospital won't walk back out of a hospital. In a lot of cases, it was a huge, staggering number. That used to be only like, I think called iatrogenic effects of hospitals, where like 6% of people that go in a hospital come out that shouldn't have never not died from it. So now it's up to like 1 in 3, which is really scary. So we all know what sickness is. And it's what right now our healthcare is built upon. As a matter of fact, we call in our office not healthcare, it's sick care. So when someone comes in with insurance and they say, I want to use this, and it's unfortunate part, they don't cover well care. So wellness is. This was a definition by the Arizona State University, and it's probably one of the most concise definitions that we've found so far that encapsulate it, because wellness is being thrown out a lot. I'm not sure if you guys heard, but Starbucks is starting a wellness program. Every major company is now starting wellness because they're starting to realize that they can't afford the healthcare anymore. They just can't afford to pay like Walmart and Starbucks, and these guys have thousands of employees, and even small companies can't afford it. So they're switching up to a wellness model, which is creating what we have now, implementing programs so that workers don't get sick, don't get hurt, and keep a much happier life. So wellness is an active, lifelong process of becoming aware of choices and making decisions toward a more balanced and fulfilling life. Wellness involves choices about our lives and our priorities that determine our lifestyle. The wellness concept is centered on the connections and ideas that the mind, body, spirit, and community are all interrelated and interdependent. So the blue letters obviously are highlighted for a reason, because it's impactful, active, lifelong. That means you got to, for one, take activity in it. You got to think about it every day. We are our thoughts. So every morning we wake up, we make up the decisions. Should I get up? Should I shower? Should I brush my teeth? Should I go to the bathroom? They're all decisions that we make, right along the lines of the choices that we make. Lifelong. We can't do it for a day. We can't do it for a week. We can't do it for a month. It's an active, lifelong process. That's why a lot of programs that are out there that are geared towards quick fixes don't work, because it's a lifelong movement towards getting these better choices. The awareness of the choices, just knowing that, with me telling you today that you need to have an awareness of those choices. I can tell you right now, our society is set up not to be healthy. If you guys look around, we were watching a movie last night, my wife and I on the couch, and I said to her, if we were meant to be healthy, instead of seeing McDonald's in every corner like we typically do, or a couple miles apart, or Starbucks, we'd see fruit stands and vegetable stands. But it's just not there right now. It's much more geared towards bad choices versus good choices. Priorities, again, we all have them, and sometimes they just need to be reorganized. Because I understand, too, I have a 3 and 2-year-old at home, they're beautiful children, run a huge practice, do the strength conditioning, and do a lot of things, and priorities slip sometimes. But you always need that awareness that you have to come back around and kind of put these things back into place. And right now what we're seeing in our society, and I kind of sum it up in an easy saying, is that everything I'm going to talk about today is common sense, but there's a disconnect between common practice. Because everything I'm going to say today, you guys are going to be like, you're right, I can see it. But it's just not being practiced. And that's kind of how we formulate a lot of our programs. So another important part is mind, body, spirit, and community. So in other words, you need to focus on every one of these aspects. Just can't be one. You guys know with the Facebook and Twitter, all the kids nowadays, they barely have any community because they have more friends on Facebook than they do in their real lives. So that's kind of a hard thing sometimes. But for us, too, same thing. Get out and have drinks, dinner, lunch, whatever with your friends. Have a good time. Spirit's always good to embrace a faith or a religion. Body and mind, same thing. Work on that brain and work on that body, too. Are all very important ones. All right. That'll happen this one time. There we go. So how do we do it? All right. Really what it comes down to, every one of us in here have belief systems. If we break the belief systems down, this is how it would go. We break beliefs to habits, habits to attitude, attitude to skill, skill to knowledge. Okay, this is from Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Anyone ever read it before? It's a pretty good book. It's written quite a little while ago. But it's very impactful because beliefs aren't shown here because that's kind of that takes a lifelong process to change that belief system and stay with it for sometimes. But the habits we can work on. Okay, and the habits are a reflection of a few things. If any of you want to start a new hobby in here, the first thing most of us would do, say for me for golf, I'm horrible at it, is I'll go in there and read a book. I'll sit down and read a magazine maybe, and start going, oh, wow, that's kind of cool. In that book or magazine, there's most likely going to be a skill I can try. Turn my hands in, turn my hands out, and I'll go out to the driving range and start working on it. Well, after a while, that skill becomes what I do every day. So when I step up to the green, hit the ball, boop, it goes out 200 yards. I'm confident, it did it, it worked. I'm pretty good. I have a habit. Next thing you know, my golf game goes better. It could be with anything, though. Nutrition. Study the right material. Read the right books. Take the dietary portions, put it on a piece of paper, start applying it every day. Eating your 5 meals a day, watching your fats, watching your carbs, watching your proteins. After a while, that skill becomes an attitude. Next thing you know, oh my goodness, I'm waking up and I'm fit, I'm happy and healthy, my blood cholesterol is all under control, and life's a whole lot better. So it's kind of cool. Dr. Dean's got a good saying, who you are speaks so loudly that I can't hear what you say. All right, so we got a lot of patients that come in and give us yeses, yeses, and yeses, and we say, well, you're not listening because you're just not making the changes. We know. We do your blood work. We do a blood work assessment on a lot of our patients to make sure the cholesterols and triglycerides and all those things are in place. We want them to make choices. How I describe our office, and it might be a little bit crude, but it comes down to this. I see a lot of people that come into our office that walk into a precarious cliff. That cliff means instant death. Okay, and it could be someone that's 19 or 18 years old up to 99 years old. I'm impelled as a doctor to sit there and tell them that, listen, there's a cliff up ahead, and if you don't watch that cliff, it's going to happen to you real quick. And that's how I get to work every single day. That's the power I get when I sit with a patient. I kind of want to say, hey, go do this way, come back around, and let's go this way for a little while. And I'm hoping to increase their value of life. All right, next one. All right, 3 main causes of aging and chronic disease. Okay, so let's wrap it back around the stress. These are stresses. Moving poorly, thinking poorly, and eating poorly. If anybody can add an extra one in there, please tell us, because this is what kind of our foundation is. But if you break it down, our stresses, we either move poorly, because we sit like this all day, we're at a computer, a lot of stress on the body. We think poorly, because we think, oh, everything's outside affecting me, and it's really breaking me down, and that's where the stress comes in. And then ultimately, eating poorly. Okay, all these stresses build up on each other. And I want to show you through here. Okay, so moving well, thinking well, eating well. We like to focus on the positives. Just so you guys know, I'm going to pass this little 2 sheets around. There's one in the back, too. I want you guys to leaf through a little bit. Every single patient that comes through our office receives this packet. Okay, I don't care if you're back pain, neck pain, weight loss, exercise, whatever it's going to be. You're going to have a packet presented to you each time. Report of findings visit. It's going to have that chart, and then your score. Okay, we scored on 10 very basic numbers. I'm going to go through each individual one as we progress along. But here's your wellness score. Okay, so you can take a peek through there. And this chart right here is going to be on that one of the papers. And by the way, there's 2 papers inside a packet. If you haven't had a packet, just go ahead and start filling that out for me. In particular, the bottom part of that section is the most important. And there's pens in there too. We give you guys free pens. And if you need a counter surface, there's some extra clipboards going around, which is good. I think we're good time-wise. Oh, good. We're great time-wise. All right. So, again, thinking positive, we always look at it from 3 different ways. If you want to think about moving well, thinking well, and eating well, the stages that we're thinking about the positives. But the back end of it is there's different types of stress in our lives. There's physical stress, mental emotional stress, and biochemical stress. Physical stressors. Most likely we're realtors. You're sitting in a car all your day. Maybe possibly sitting back at a desk doing a ton of paperwork, especially nowadays. We go home, we sit in our car to go home, we sit at dinner, we sit on our couch maybe to watch some news that's probably depressing. And next thing you know, we realize that we spend about 6-7 hours our day in this kind of posture, sitting the whole entire day. The problem with that posture is extremely stressful. Okay, we were designed after thousands of years of evolution to have a beautiful S-shaped spine. It's very beautiful. If you look at my 3 and 2-year-old, they like to run around naked, and they have great little curves. They have little bubble butts. They got a nice little curve in their necks, and they're gorgeous. Okay, the problem is, I know in about 2 years from now, I'm going to put them in a great school district here in Council Rock, and they're going to start sitting for about the next 12 years of their lives. And that sitting posture goes back to that C-shaped. Okay, so we round our backs out, our head goes forward. Okay, so natural progression of a kid from 5 until 95 is to go back to that C-shaped posture, which we originally had. It's in complete violation of what our bodies were designed for. So there's one of the reasons why someone says, wow, why does that knot right there kill me? Or why does my neck hurt? Well, part of it's your posture, and part of it's just the awareness that we were meant to be like an S, and now we're like a C. Okay, so it's pretty easy. So there's your computer work. Sports injury, falls, all those kind of things add up over life. So if you have any motor vehicle accidents or sports injuries, they're like little weak links in the kinetic chain. So if you had a car accident, a little bit of whiplash, and maybe to get care for, and you're like, you know what, I felt great, but I can probably tell you about 60% of the patients that come in from automobile accidents that happened 10, 12 years ago, I can show them on the x-ray when it happened. It's almost like a rings of a tree. Like, you guys know, like when you cut a tree, you see the ring has a bad year. Your spine will show a bad year, and it's pretty impactful when they see it. They're like, really?